Or two technical difficulties. Thank you for your patience. I can see we have a number of people who have joined us. We are also trying to do a bit of live streaming from our side. So anybody who might have missed the session can still watch it on our respective social pages. But yes, let me share with you the presentation for today. Okay.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our first information session for the MineTech Accelerator. And I'm actually excited for this. I have an icebreaker for this particular session, and that's actually before we jump right into it. Okay, just give me a moment. Max, you can move to the next slide. Okay. Welcome. I'm just going to run us through the overview of today's session and just talk a bit about the objectives and introduce you to the speakers for today. And later, I'm just going to hand over to my colleague Max, who's going to give us a bit more insights and about this particular session for today. Okay. So basically, this session is meant to provide our participants, our potential participants, you, with enough information about the program. And we are basically, so this particular program is designed to support startups that are in the African mining sector. And we're specifically looking at two things: drone technology and data visualization. Okay, so for our speakers for today, we have Dr. Kutemba Kapanji from NASA, which is National Institute for Scientific and Industrial Research. And we also have Nampaka Nkumbula from UNDP. And there's a chat down here. For our icebreaker, I'll just like us to comment which country we are joining this, we are joining us from. For us, it's of course Zambia. So if you're joining us from anywhere else around Africa, feel free to just comment in the chat. Yeah. Okay. I think that's about it. I'll just hand over to my colleague Max to just run us through the important parts about this session for today, and also just to hear from our respective speakers for today, who are Dr. Kutemba, as well as Nampaka from UNDP, and Dr. Kutemba from NASA as well. Okay, Max, I hope you're ready.
Yes.
Oh, there's Nampaka Nkumbula saying, that's in the chat, there's Nampaka Nkumbula saying they're joining us from Rwanda. Dr. Kutemba says it's a rainy Zambia. Of course, it's been quite rough these past days. Okay, but I'd also like to see some of the people joining us to also just comment in the chat, and I can only see us who are on the other end. Let me just go through the attendees. Okay, so there's Akunjivwa Mukwasa. Akunjivwa, if you can hear me, you could just comment in our chat and tell us where you're joining us from. There's also, I can also see Chimwemwe Bilima, it's Bilima or Bilima. Oh, Nampaka is not on the call. My name is Roslyn. Oh, hi, Roslyn. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so if you're attending this session, please feel free to just tell us where you're joining us from in the chat before we just jump right into it. I can also see Misozi. Misozi, welcome. All right, okay, Max, I think you can take it up now.
Yeah, okay, everybody. Great. Good beginning. I can see an apology. Sorry, we all entered as Nampaka. No problem. You can rename yourself. And it's not too bad being Nampaka. I like her. Okay. So moving forward. Again, everybody, thank you for joining. This is going to be a short session. And what we're doing is just giving you an overview of the program. And also we want to give anybody the opportunity to ask some questions. Of course, you don't also necessarily need to ask them during the session. You can also talk to us directly, send us an email. We are here to support you. But we are talking about the Timbuktoo MineTech program today. And that is what we're covering. We have an agenda here. It's a short one. So beyond welcoming and opening remarks, right now we're doing the program overview. After that, we will have a representative from Niger, who's Dr. Kunteba, give us just some few remarks. We will have the same thing from UNDP. And then afterwards, we'll have a Q&A session. And as you can see, the Q&A session is the most important bit of it, the biggest bit of it. So your inputs, your feedback, your questions, they do matter. And we want to take them into consideration before we close the session. So we might as well jump into it. So if you're not familiar with the Timbuktoo program, it's a really big initiative started by UNDP, looking to essentially facilitate $1 billion into the startup ecosystem in Africa. I think it's actually the biggest project of its kind that has ever been attempted. So it's a wonderful project. And here in Zambia, we are hosting the MineTech Hub, which we are very grateful for. And the actual physical hub is being hosted at Niger. We're more on that a little bit later. But that is sort of a basic outline of the project, focusing on mining technology. Now, here are some examples, or what we might focus on, because this is not just the MineTech Hub, but the MineTech Accelerator. We're looking at issues of data visualization and drone technology, but also some other items such as wastewater management and really anything else that stands within it. So if you go to the UNDP page where you apply, you will see the list of different items that we are interested in. But if you do not fall within that list, if you do not fall within that scope, you might still want to apply because you never know. It might be very interesting, and we might want to let you into the program simply to support you because you have a great idea and there's something amazing that you're working on. Of course, in this, our focus is also to build the capacity of startups, give you some targeted mentorships and build partnerships with industry, with institutions, with companies that can help you take your startup to the next level. So the program objectives, we're trying to promote innovation because innovation can make a difference. Ideally speaking, we want cutting edge solutions in mining, and we believe that Africans can produce those. We want to support startups and enhance their capacity as well. How are we going to do this? Through boot shops, workshops, and mentorships. We'll give you a bit more of an outline just now. And we also want to, of course, foster collaboration, not only among startups, but among investors and industry leaders. So what's great about this project is that, or the program is, the way that we're trying to structure, we are trying to get partnerships so that we have alignment with industry where startups can have access to certain things that they may not have, such as data, such as a playground, a testing field for the solutions, or simply having the right connections, the right network, which can make a difference as you're building your enterprise. Beyond that, we're of course also driving sustainability, sustainable development goals, the ESGs. We want to make certain that any sort of startup, any sort of technology that we're supporting are more or less in line with that sort of ideology. So this is about an overline of the program activities that you can be expecting if you are selected for the program. Right now, we're going through the recruitment phase, and afterwards, we're going to have a bootcamp. So for recruitment, we're looking for a minimum of 10 startups. These are going through a very rigorous evaluation process. Looking forward to looking through your applications, of course, but it's not an easy thing to get into a program such as this. So please do your best. Let your applications be thorough, and be as honest as possible as well. As we're going into the bootcamp phase, we will have hands-on workshops. Like they'll be very intensive. At least the first 2 weeks will be. And this is going to help you to develop your prototype. So if you have an idea, it will be more like developing a prototype, getting something that is more solid under your belt. Or it could also be refining your minimum viable product if you are already slightly more advanced. The sessions themselves will be hosted here in Zambia. You get to go to Nizia, and they have a really nice space, wonderful space that they've built to support this program since they are hosting the MineTech Hub. And the bootcamp itself will be both online and, well, first it will be physical, and then it will be virtual online. From the bootcamp, we go into incubation and acceleration. So again, it depends on what level of startup you are. But this is added startup support. It's deeper startup support. We're going to jump into the fray of things. It's going to be also very challenging. It's also still going to be very intensive. You're going to be expected to not only learn about something, but to apply it into your business. And the evaluation will be one that is very holistic, depending on the feedback that we're getting. How many customers are you talking to? Are you doing your research well? Are you speaking to people? Are you, who knows? Maybe you're already the type of people who are going out and selling and getting traction. So we want to know about your sales numbers. So really, it's even the incubation and acceleration phase is very intense, but we will give you extra time to develop yourself. And you will also have access to specialist coaches in the mining sector, in data, in IT, software, whatever it might be, so that you have the right support to try to push yourself forward and get the most out of this program. After the incubation acceleration phase, we will have some virtual pitches in July, which is essentially to get you to be ready for how do you pitch to investors if you've never done it before. So it's going to be, to an extent, like a mock session, but at the same time, it will count towards sort of your final score on within the program, so that we can decide who are the top 5. Why do we want the top 5? Well, those are the ones that are going to get funding. This program will provide $25,000 of funding to the top 5. And of course, we want the people who show up, who give their all, who give their best. There's always this dynamic of sometimes you can have a great idea, but what you also need is people who can really implement well. And if you can show us that you have a bit of both, that doubles your odds of success. And then last but not least, what we're going to see in the program is some post-grant monitoring. So yes, you would get the money, but there is a specific way that you would have to tell us how you are going to utilize it, exactly what steps you're going to take to build your business, and we will be there to support you along the way, still with coaching, still with touching base, holding you accountable. So think of us like at that point as your accountability partner. Now, I know I've been talking a lot, I've been waffling, so I would like to hand it over to our representative from Nizia. Nizia is the National Institute for Scientific and Industrial Research here in Zambia. And if Dr. Kuntemba, if you don't mind just saying a few words, you have 5 minutes, so you can take your time. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Thank you very much, Maximilian, for this opportunity. Good morning.
Sorry, I think you need to unmute yourself. Is it?
I am.
Or is it me?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I am unmuted. Yes. Okay, so thank you once again, Maximilian. And, hi to everyone. Thanks for this opportunity to just share with you a bit about NISA, how we're strategically positioned here as the actual physical host of the Mining Technology Innovation Hub. And I'll just share with you briefly on our strategic vision in terms of how we hope to sustain not just the hub, but the institution itself, and just share with you how that we are well integrated within the national innovation ecospace. And so this is an exciting time. And so with that, I'll just quickly go into my brief remarks. As has been stated, you might all be aware that through the partnership between the United Nations Development Programme and the government of Zambia, through the Ministry of Technology and Science, NISA, the National Institute for Scientific and Industrial Research, has been chosen to host, to be that physical host for the Timbuktoo Mining Technology Innovation Hub. And this is truly exciting. So to just share with you a bit more about who NISA is and what our mandate is and how we sit into this whole arrangement. NISA is a statutory body. It was established by an act of parliament and is a public research institute. Our mandate is to drive innovation, scientific, technological, and industrial research and development across key sectors in the country. And so you find that these key sectors do align well with our national policies, and so driving Zambia's socioeconomic advancements together in line with the nation. And so with that alignment, you actually realize that the success of any development plan, any national development plan, is hinged on the nation's ability to conduct research and development, to generate new ideas, new knowledge, develop innovative solutions, and foster that culture of scientific inquiry. And so with NISA's extensive experience in scientific research and technological development, it makes us an ideal host. And we're really excited about this venture and initiative. And so looking at our long-term goal and our vision for stewardship, our vision for integrating into the national innovation ecosystem, and how that this will remain sustainable, the whole MineTech Innovation Hub will remain sustainable. We do realize that NISA has a vision, and that's to become a hub of scientific and technological excellence by 2030. And through NISA's 4 strategic pillars, these have been positioned to help NISA move to that direction and achieve that vision that they have. And so through the 4 pillars that NISA has established in its strategic plan, we aim to strengthen research and development. We aim to build capacity to conduct impactful research that addresses national key issues in different sectors that which include mining as well. But we also hope to modernize our infrastructure and invest in state-of-the-art facilities and equipment. The 4 pillars also intend to promote interdisciplinary collaboration. We're trying to foster partnerships amongst scientists, amongst industry, amongst government, so that will bring about a solid and robust triple helix effect, which will actually advance national development, social and economic development. And so you realize that NISA will not do this alone, for example, run the MineTech Hub alone, but there's a lot of MOUs in place, agreements that will bring on board a pool of experts that can feed into the MineTech Hub. So this is a national initiative that's being housed right here at NISA. So through our pillars as well, we also hope to cultivate a conducive environment that will create a supportive atmosphere for scientific inquiry and technological advancement. We also intend to build our organization capacity. I think that we may have some challenges here and there, but there's so much support and buy-in from government such that there's been support to help us build internal capacities, improve digital transformation, and ensure financial management. And these, of course, will also have a positive impact on the MineTech Hub itself. We also intend to maintain this stakeholder balance and engage with stakeholders and cooperating partners to ensure a balanced innovation ecosystem. And so by hosting the MineTech Hub, NISA is actually demonstrating its commitment to integrating into the national innovation ecosystem and contributing to improving the mining value chain improving sustainable mining practices that ensure that African resources actually benefit Africans. And so we are excited as NISA to host this MineTech Hub, and we aim to reform Africa's mining sector by fostering innovation, research, and sustainable mining practices. And so this is an exciting time for us, and just to reassure you and let you know that there's full government support in this, but that as NISA, we're also strategically positioned to run this hub for Zambia, but for the rest of Africa as well. So thank you very much, Maximilian. I'll hand back to you. I hope I didn't go overboard.
Great. Thank you so much, Doctor. I think the only thing I can add to that is, for context, if you're not familiar with it, the Timbuktoo initiative is an initiative not only from UNDP, but from governments around Africa. And really, Nizia and our government have stepped up to support the MineTech initiative for this Pan-African program. So when you hear Dr. Kutemba talk about the national policy, it's not just about Zambia. What we have here is a group of people, a group of experts, some of the best in the country in terms of our scientific minds, who are actually behind this hub and behind the accelerator. And they're part of the system, they're part of the program. So you as startups, these are the type of individuals that you will have access to that will be supporting you. And that's what's so wonderful about the nature of how this program has been structured between NISIA and the UNDP. Now, if I may ask, I think it's Rosaline, right? Hello, most welcome. It's good to see you. And let me see, I've done the wrong way around. Yes, so now our representative from the UNDP, please, you may go ahead whenever you're ready.
All right, thank you, Max, for the
yes,
background about the program and everything. I am requesting if I can just share my slides. I've got a few slides that I prepared for this presentation.
You can try sharing your slides.
Okay, yeah, let me just. Okay, so I will speak generally about what the Timbuktoo initiative is, broadly from the way it was conceptualized by UNDP and how it is going to work and how it fits into the MineTech Hub that Max and Dr. Kutemba have elaborated on. So basically, the Timbuktoo initiative is the largest initiative that is supporting the innovation ecosystem in Africa. This has been conceptualized by UNDP with different partners that came on board to see to it that the different startups in Africa should be given the support that they need for them to grow and become great players globally. So the mission for the Timbuktoo is basically to provide early capital that is de-risked so that the startups can be able to afford to have the resources that they need for them to grow. And it's also aimed at making sure that the ecosystem within Africa is not fragmented, but that there is coordination in terms of implementation of the different innovations that are going through within the African continent. And mainly, this initiative is aimed at ensuring that the startups within Africa do not just operate within their confines of the countries where they are located. we want to ensure that there is connectivity between what they are doing and what possibly can happen for them if they are able to trade across borders and expand into different markets. So this initiative is Pan-African in nature, which will give a lot of incentives for the startups to be able to, get that kind of access to the different resources and the different personnel that are across the different African countries. So the big idea is that the Timbuktoo initiative is going to be implemented over a 10-year period, starting last year, which was 2024. So it's expected to go up to 2034. So over the 10-year period, UNDP and its partners are committed to raise about $1 billion that will be able to fund the activities of the Timbuktoo initiatives. And it is hoped that throughout the period, we'll be able to engage at least 10,000 startups and support them with the different resources that they need. But out of that 10,000, at least we need 1,000 that will be able to move from where we found them to the point where they're able to scale to a point where they're able to engage globally and able to trade and become entities that are able to contribute to the GDP of the different countries where they are situated. And along the way, we expect that over 100 million livelihoods will be impacted, and that the startups will be able to create over $10 billion in value. So why did UNDP, think about the Timbuktoo initiative? This is basically to ensure that there is capacity to close the gap between creating value and creating impact on the lives of the people within the countries where UNDP works. But then also UNDP wants to lay a foundation to make sure that there is credible and legitimate startups that are able to function and become big players, not just in Africa, but also globally. We're also interested in providing a clear pathway for these startups to access resources, but then also for them to scale so that they're able to commercialize and become real business entities. We are also interested in fostering sustainability through different coalitions and partnerships. So we want to connect the different initiatives within UNDP, but then also look at connecting the different ecosystem that we work with and work with the different partners, such as government, the private sector, the academia, research institutes, and so on and so forth. So what are some of the tools that we are using to ensure that we deliver on the promise of the Timbuktoo initiative? There is what is called the university pods. These are innovation hubs that have been set up in different universities across Africa. Here in Zambia, our Unipod is situated at the Copperbelt University. So it is envisioned that the innovations that is coming through from the universities will be a pipeline to some of the innovations that can go to the hubs. And also the expertise that are found within the universities are going to be used as some of the resource people that will be able to mentor the innovations both at the Unipods, but then also at the hubs. And then the next tool that we're using is the creation of the hubs. So these hubs are thematic centers of excellences that are also across 10 different countries across Africa. And I'll soon be showing you where they are situated. And then the other way is for us to provide that catalytic fund where we want to now fund these startups within the ecosystem that we're going to build. So this is just a map to show you where the unipods, the innovation pods are across Africa, which are then related to these Timbuktoo hubs that are situated across Africa. So Lusaka MineTech Hub is one of the hubs that is under the Timbuktoo, and it's specifically looking at mine technology, and that's why we call it the MineTech Hub. And then across Africa, there are all these different hubs, like in Cape Town, where they're looking at creatives. In Lagos, they are looking at fintech. In Accra, they are looking at agri-tech. In Dakar, Senegal, it's tourism and education. In Morocco, they're looking at smart cities. In Egypt, they're looking at trade and e-commerce. In Ethiopia, they're looking at manufacturing. And in Kenya, they're looking at green tech and climate change. And in Rwanda, they're looking at health tech. So all these hubs are interconnected, and we're able to kind of interact and feedback with each other on what is going on and learn on the best practices on how to support the different innovators and the different startups within the ecosystem. So now to narrow it down to the Zambian Timbuktoo Hub, this is the MineTech Hub, where you as mining startups, you will specifically be interested in. This is a hub that is located at NISA, as it has been stated, and we are focusing on mining technology, sustainable mining, critical minerals, and value addition, but also looking at things like safety within the mines and things that are related to improving mining technology in general. So the goal of the MineTech Hub in Zambia is to foster innovations. We want to ensure that there is a collaborative environment for developing innovative solutions in mining technology. We want to support the startups by providing resources, mentorship, networking opportunities, and also just an environment where the startups are able to thrive and become reliable and proper commercial entities. We are also promoting sustainability within the operations of the mines by incorporating environmentally friendly mining practices and technologies. So those are also some of the things that we're looking out for. And we hope as startups and innovators, you are able to come up with some of those initiatives that can support such kind of initiatives. And we also want to enhance the competitiveness of the startups so that there is efficiency, safety, and productivity within the mining sector. So basically, those are some of the activities and the activities that we are trying to promote at the MineTech Hub. And we hope as you are doing your preparations for the applications, you will be able to go through some of these things and ensure that you incorporate these things to ensure that your proposals that you bring forth are able to meet the criteria that is set. And I wish that you're going to, take this opportunity and make the applications and be able to, contribute to this the development of the MineTech Hub. This is going to be the first cohort, and I hope it's going to be, a great cohort, and it can only be great if we are able to get the best applications that are going to come from you. So on this, at this point, I would like to maybe just ask Max if we can have maybe just 1 or 2 minutes that can be given to my colleague, Charlie, from UNDP country office, so that she can just say 1 or 2 things. Max, over to you.
Please go ahead. You just, if she wants to share the screen, you just need to stop sharing, and then we can move forward.
Thank you very much, Rosaline. I actually don't have any presentation, but just to say that I think the whole premise of having the Timbuktoo hubs around the African continent is to really give an opportunity to locally grown solutions to be brought to scale. I think we have seen a number of interesting innovations that have come up, and there hasn't been a really focused approach to ensure that we really nurture these innovations. So I think as Rosaline has said, it's really to make sure that we harness all these innovations and really bring them up to scale. Of course, the focus on Africa is to really ensure that we really respond to the problems that are faced by the continent, but also to ensure that there's cross-learning among the different African countries, but also to maximize the expertise that are there in different countries. For instance, we have, of course, the MineTech Hub, and we're really looking at, the history of mining in Zambia. We're a mining country, and what can we lend to the continent in terms of mining expertise, but also just a platform to ensure that we have the space to be able to test out different innovations. Of course, through the Timbuktoo initiatives, we hope that we can fix, the different players and the expertise in the ecosystem. How can we bring all the expertise, the excellence, to ensure that we really ensure that startups are supported, they are brought up to scale. And at the end of the day, what we're really looking at is value addition, which would then translate into improved livelihoods in the countries that these initiatives are implemented. So really excited as Zambia, and really excited as UNDP to partner with the different ecosystem players. Of course, the government is really supportive, and we are grateful for the support and partnership that is there. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for that. And as we're rounding off the kind of like the remarks, let me also just start. I need to go back to my presentation as well and share it with all of you. Where are we? Okay. Bam, and we are back. So thank you from both Nizia and UNDP. Very much appreciated. So as we're rounding off the discussions, just a quick talk about participant eligibility. Who should join? You will find this on the application form as well. Just to make certain, we're going to reiterate it here. You need to be a startup founder who is a national of an African country, and you need to be based in Africa. That's very important to us. Your startup must be registered in Africa. A startup must address a mining industry challenge, a problem that we have within the mining sector. Beyond that, we are quite open to your applications. So if you're pre-seed, that means if you're more at the idea stage, feel free to apply. But also if you have an MVP, so if you have a sort of product, whether it's sort of at a prototype stage or if it's a bit more advanced, you might even already have customers, for all we know. You are encouraged to do so. You are more than welcome. As well, we'd have to say that women and persons with disabilities are very encouraged to to apply, any sort of marginalized group, you are welcome to join as well. The deadline for the applications is the 13th of February of this year. And that covers the participant eligibility. Is it Rosaline? I see you have raised your hand. Do you want me to, would you like to make a contribution?
No, this is Natalie. I'll introduce myself quickly. I'm the CEO for the Timbuktoo Foundation. And I just have a question for you, Nampaka, around the pipeline that we are getting. So I see pre-seed and MVP, but I think we should also take room to appeal to any growth stage companies. Is very, very important for us in this call. We've been learning from other hubs, and we realized that the pipeline we're generating is too early stage, and investors are not necessarily interested in that. The problem with just the pre-seed and the MVP is that we can fund it through grants and or money from DFIs, which is drying up. So we need to be able to get pipeline that's investable in our calls to make sure that we can bring investors on board. I would like at this stage, just for, I'm sure Atak will have already commented, but I want Atak and Sinazo to comment on that, because if we haven't already incorporated that, it's a fundamental change that we'll have to incorporate in making sure that we're appealing to some growth stage companies for this track. Thank you.
Rosaline, would you like to make a comment?
Thank you, Natalie, for those comments. I think the comments are valid. I think what we can do, maybe because I think the call has already been done and advertised as stated by Max. But what we can do is maybe to follow up with some of the promotional materials that we're doing and incorporate that particular aspect so that we can also, get some of the projects that are within the pipelines and are investable. Yeah, I think that's the way we can kind of incorporate that at this stage.
Okay,
So,
thanks.
yeah, colleagues, let me step in here with a short comment on that. This is Artak, Senior Advisor on VC's Private Equity and Senior Advisor with Timbuktoo Initiative. Usually, when we do such calls, what we try to articulate is that applicants above this stage should apply, right? So if we are saying pre-seed, but at least MVP has to be there, so meaning everyone above that stage can apply. And we usually do not cut those who are at the later stages in such cases, and we have many of such precedents. But probably a small adjustment needs to be made in the communication, saying that so basically we have the lowest threshold, but we are not putting the higher or more mature threshold there, right? Saying everybody is willing to apply, but at least you have to have MVP, or MVP above are more encouraged to do so. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that addition. Yeah, we will be able to make some adjustments in the communications as we go forward.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Just for clarification, so we'll be adjusting some items, but as it stands, this is what we're looking at. And I believe, yes, the next section is a Q&A. So if anybody has any questions, if there are any startups with burning questions that you have with regards to the program, whatever it might be, whether it's application, whether it's the bootcamp, the incubation, whatever you might be interested in, please go ahead. The floor is yours. I believe we have there should be like a Q&A option. So should be able to post either in the chat your questions if you have them, and we can address them. So don't be shy, we are here for you specifically. Oh, and of course, if you are an online viewer, if you're watching via the stream, you can also drop your comments in the comment sections. No questions? Are you sure, guys? Here's your opportunity. Or maybe we're very clear, we're very thorough. Okay, Asisinazo CBC, hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I apologize if I'm not. We need to make it clear that we are looking for tech and tech-enabled innovations that address mining challenges. Yes, that is true. Tech and tech-enabled innovations that address mining challenges. What does that mean? That means if you are a heavily tech-based business, so this could be something like the Internet of Things, right? With data visualization, as we've said, then we're very interested in you. Otherwise, your innovation, your startup needs to be based on tech enablement. That means it could be something that is traditional, but you have recently had a transformation. You've had a transition that uses technology to now sort of level up your business model. So that is one of the key aspects of the program. You need to be either a proper tech startup or you need to be tech enabled. If you are a traditional brick and mortar business, if, for instance, you are a mine operator in whatever it might be, if you're mining copper, if you're mining silver, that is not necessarily something that we are interested in. We have a question as well from one Chola Kaunda. One of the application requirements is that the business be registered. Are you accepting newly registered startups? Yes. According to our current outline, yes, we are. Hi, Excellent Sao from DRC. We are actively developing solution in mining industry. Can we apply for French speaker business or English is mandatory? So the sessions will be held in English. So if you don't have those English capabilities, it might be a bit difficult for you to keep up, but you can still apply, and we will then judge your application accordingly. And then we have Tamiano Banda. The model does not support individual people and is only focused on businesses. Ideally speaking, yes. So if you come as a person, the problem is that we need structure as well. We need structure in the approach. We need structure and seriousness in the way that you're trying to solve issues, the way that you're trying to solve these problems in mining. And the idea with having a registered business, or at least being close to that, is that you have some seriousness behind you. Mind you, it's not that hard to structure a business. You could, if your name is Banda, so I'm going to assume you're from Zambia. In less than a week, you can have a business registered. Okay. Feel free to keep the questions coming.
Maximilian, there's some comments and questions in the Q&A. I'm picking.
Yes, unfortunately, for some reason, I cannot see it. So let me do this. Q&A. One was in the chat is disabled. Yes, the chat was disabled. Okay, my startup isn't registered yet with PACA. Just wanted to get clarification on if that's a requirement before applying. I think apply anyway. Let's see what your idea is. Let's see how far you've gone, and we can make the judgment there. But you shouldn't be, don't be afraid to apply to the program, even if your application may not be perfect. Like, you never know what's going to happen. We have a person watching on Facebook, Joshua Kafwimbi. Is there support from ideation to business stage? Well, yes, this is as part of the program, the way it's designed. So there is some coverage. Of course, again, like I'm saying, that we will judge you on a case-by-case basis. But if you are more at the ideation stage, apply and let's see what happens. And the question from Mambo Piri, is Bitcoin mining application welcome? No, unfortunately not. Bitcoin mining, it's a bit of a different thing. Blockchain technology is great. Who knows how we can apply blockchain technology within mining, but it has to be mining based. We're talking about natural resources, not, I guess, not man-made resources. But thank you for the question. I also have a question from Kelvin Chitala. Kelvin is asking, are you also allowing those of us in consultancy services, like providing training related to mining companies, such as occupational health and safety, management systems, environmental awareness management systems, and many more ISO standards? I think consultancy is outside the scope of this program. Like, we are really looking for solutions. What I mean of solutions are either it's productized services or products. So if you do not fall under that category, I would say that we wouldn't be working with consulting companies, no. Consulting, remember consulting, what you're doing, what I have in my head, I might be wrong, it's non-scalable. And or at least it's very difficult to scale consulting companies. And really the biggest difference between startups, why we're looking for something that is either tech-based or tech-enabled, is the fact that they can be scaled Africa-wide. Okay. And we also have a question from Jonathan Tongu. Jonathan is asking, if I have understood correctly, after submitting the applications, the startup selected must physically send representatives to Lusaka. My question is whether the program will cover travel and accommodation and how much time is to be spent in Lusaka. So good question, Jonathan. Yes, the top participants selected will have to travel to Lusaka for a bootcamp. The plan is to have a 2-week bootcamp, and your travel expenses will be covered by the program. I'm told that there is one more question coming our way. Requirements for yellow fever in Zambia. I'm assuming this has got to do with the yellow fever certificate. So from what I know, yellow fever, it depends on what country you're coming from. If you are flagged as a yellow fever risk country, then you would need to have the yellow fever card, the certificate that is issued normally by, it's underwritten by a medical doctor and whatnot. But I'm sure that you have them wherever you're from. So if you are from a country that is on the list, you would have to go to the Immigration Department of Zambia, and they have a list there that specifies exactly what countries these are, and you'd have to make certain that you have that yellow fever certification, just in terms of making, if you are to be selected, it would make your travel here easier. So yes, that would be a standard requirement in that situation. Okay. As we are rounding off, maybe we can take 1 or 2 more questions. I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I'm happy that you're asking questions. If you weren't asking questions, I'd be worried. We have a question from Martha. Are you paying for accommodation and upkeep if selected? So as mentioned before, accommodation, yes, is getting paid. And we are not going to let you starve. You're not going to go hungry. We will be paying for your upkeep as well. So you will get a small per diem. And of course, we will be covering your lunch, dinner, and breakfast. And Elijah, your question is, missed most of the session. Will the recording be shared? The recording right now is live, I believe, on Facebook and YouTube. And the link can be shared, but you should also be able to, for instance, go to the Bongo Hive Facebook, and there should be then a link there. In case you don't know who we are, we don't have it for this program. We're not really advertising ourselves because the Timbuktoo program is really what's important and what needs the attention. But we are Bongo Hive, we are an incubation and technology hub, and we are implementing the incubation and acceleration program for the Timbuktoo Hub. So my colleague has also shared the YouTube in the chat. So if you'd like to watch it later on at your own convenience, feel free. She has also just shared the Facebook link. Okay, great. I like the flow of this. But we are just about out of time. So I want to give you like 10 more seconds if there is any other question that we have. Okay, so as that is, I can't see any more questions. Am I correct? Yes. So everybody, just to give you the closing remarks, first of all, thank you for giving us your time today. I thank the Timbuktoo team, UNDP, Nizia, and of course, all of the other participants, the startups, interested parties. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a good session. I liked the questions, and it took a bit of time to warm up, but we got there. So if you have any other questions, please, you can send us an email. We're available here at entrepreneurship@bongohive.co.za. So you can get in touch with us. We are at your service. Otherwise, there is the application in and of itself. If you have not applied yet, please do. We have quite a few applications that we're going through right now. Be competitive. Join in, do your best, fill it out well, and we want to be able to support you. So yes, that is pretty much the end of the session. And I think I would need to thank, again, all of our representatives. Dr. Gutemba, thank you for giving us your time. Rosalind, thank you for being awesome. And everybody else. Before we go, it would be great if, I don't know if this is going to work, but if we could, what's the word? Yes, that's it, Elisa, thank you. If we could switch on our videos, we'd love to take a screenshot of all of us. Okay. Here I am talking to myself again. Okay, everybody, thank you for going on, but I need your most beautiful smile. Okay, and I'll count down from 3, 3, 2, 1, and smile. Okay, great. Thank you so much, everybody. and you're all most welcome. Hope you still have a lovely day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Max. Bye-bye.